Question 16, recognising the graphs. So, first thing I can see straight away is that this is an x squared curve. So I know that my equation has to have an x squared. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help me because all of these have an x squared, because even with these two, if I was to expand the brackets, I'd get an x squared. Second thing I need to recognise is that when the curve shapes this way, it must be a minus x squared. Now that does help me because it means I can straight away ignore that one. This one, if I was to expand the brackets, I'd get a positive x squared. I've got a negative x squared there, which is useful to me, and I've got a positive x squared, which is ignored there. And if I was to expand the bracket here, although I would get a positive x squared, I would then times it by the minus. Now, that leaves me with two possible equations. Now, I can see that there are 2 points where this graph intersects this y-axis here, and they are not going to be the same points. And the other thing I know is that it cuts through at 7 here. So I know that it's got to be a negative x squared, which is these two, and then I'm going to use the fact that this cuts through at 7, which means this must be the equation I want, because I've got a constant of 7 here, whereas if I expanded these brackets, I would get 49 as the number up here, which when I times by a minus would make minus 49, so that would be down here somewhere. And also, if I was to expand this bracket, I would find that these 2 points here would have to be at the same place because x would equal minus 7 twice. Now on graph B, first thing I know is that this isn't the quadratic graph, so I can ignore any of the x squareds because it doesn't have a quadratic curve shape. Now, the next thing here is we need to remember the shape of some graphs. 1 over x is an inverse graph, and it won't look like this. 1 over x has 2 parts to the graph. There will be a part of the graph here and a part of the graph there, so we can ignore that one. X to the power of 0, if I was to put anything to the power of 0, it is 1, so it doesn't matter what x value I pick, it would always give the answer 1, and this isn't the case here, so I can ignore that one, so therefore it must be that one. We could also spot that this is an exponential, 2 to the power of x, and we know that that exponential takes that shape.